I want you to break down some misconceptions because I want to, make sure we post this on social media so we can start educating people. I know Maluhia already started where it's like Honolulu, Honolulu.
Oh,
What else? Aloha, the aloha, haole, haole,
oh,
aloha, all those stuff. Because there's a lot of misinformation,
yeah.
I would say, with that and stuff that I subscribe to because I didn't know better. Like I remember explaining to people, oh, haole because they don't have any breath, or when we do aloha, it's because we have our alo to alo and we take the ha from each other. Like I've perpetuated those thoughts because that's what I was taught,
And I remember back in the 80s hearing these thoughts, and I never took them seriously. I always went, oh, oh, okay. I mean, it's a lovely thought to think
Yeah.
of, you know what I mean? But no, it's haole. It's never been ha'ole. Aloha never been aloha. But this ha concept, that was grasping off a very specific Hawaiian custom, which is a death custom. It's associated with death, is that last dying breath. You would capture uh, usually the person dying. They're dying a slow death, and then they know they're about to die. So they will take their favorite person, family member, whoever, and bring them over. And there are different ways to do it, but one way was to have a calabash and with water in it, and they would literally breathe into it, and that's hot. And then they would cover it and then pass it to this favorite person, and that person would breathe, would either suck that in or drink that water, and that
Mm.
would you're ingesting spiritually this last breath of this person, symbolically transferring all their mana, all
Mm.
their ike and mana by you doing this. That's that tradition, that this ha thing. And like I said in Maluhia's thing, ha is you're using your mouth, not your nose.
Mm.
So don't confuse it with the honi. You
Mhm.
know, when you honi and you meet and then you press noses, you can go, you don't, it's not necessary. And I've heard variations. I heard that actually it's not on the nose. You go over here and you go, so the two sides. But in either case, you're going, not.
Mm. Yeah, just
uh,
breathing into
yeah, because honi
somebody's.
means to smell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Honi
yeah,
is also the word to smell.
yeah.
And so don't confuse those two customs.
And make sure you don't confuse it with the other definition of honey when you go kiss somebody, when you go do that.
Well, that became nothing wrong with that, seriously. But yeah, that's also beautiful. But yeah, so anyway, and then earlier you said Honolulu, Honolulu. Actually, for a kaua'i person, that's funny because kaua'i is everything is hana, hana
Mhm.
pepe, hana lei,
Oh,
hana
yeah.
maulu. Everything
Mhm.
is hana. And then over here you got hanauma, eh? And then you got a couple other hanas on Maui. There's hana something over in uh, outside of Lahaina.
Mhm.
And on Hawaii, there's at least one hana, on the drive when you're going up from
Uh,
Hilo up north. You get the three
there
horseshoes. And then there's one
Hana.
hana.
There's Honomu.
Yeah, no, it's
There's
past. Yeah, it's
Hana.
it's way. There's a one. It's a not even it's not even a town.
Yeah.
It's a sign that you see on the road, and
Hana.
that's the only one. But Kauai, everything is hana, and so hana hono are the same thing linguistically. People who analyze Polynesian language suggest that the Hawaiian hana, hana lei, hana pepe is the older form of the language than hono. And so hana hono are for a Kauai person, we chuckle because you can actually say hana lulu
Mm.
if you know what you're doing. But if you're saying it because you're lazy, then you're doing it ignorantly and
Mhm.
you should stop that.
Yeah, but I hear too, it's not so much Hanalu, it's Hon.
Yeah,
Hon,
exactly.
because they read it as Hon.
But then again,
Hon, like honey.
but that's my pet peeve
Mhm.
with the immersion school students.
Mhm.
They can't get the a, e, I, o, u vowel pronunciation right. They go, oh. So they call their dad papa. That's not Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Papa is not papa. That's more like PAW kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Or
And
even
yet,
the eyes, kahakai,
yeah, they can't get it
kahakai.
right. That's kai is
Mhm.
kukai.
Yeah.
So people who argue for the molokai versus molokai, they're not even getting that right.
Mhm.
If you're gonna omit that okina over there, then it's molokai. not Molokai, which is the normal local jargon, local pronunciation, kaua'i, lanai. For a Hawaiian ear, I heard you say kaua'i. I
Mhm.
heard you say lanai, Molokai. If you're going to say kai, that's short for kukai.
Which is poop.
So be aware. I mean, be educated. If you're going to make that argument, then get the pronunciation right before you start making that argument. My great grandfather's name is John Molokai.
Mm.
It's never been Molokai. John Molokai. And so it's personal for my family. It's Molokai. It's never been Molokai. And it's never been Molokai. I guarantee you
What
that.
about Kaniohi?
I mean, that's getting silly already. Yeah, that's just being silly.
It's
That's just as bad as Kalanianioli.
I started not getting as upset with people when they say that because I realized they just don't know better.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
local
why
peop-
we need to educate them. But when the
Yeah.
local people do it and they keep doing it, they're
But here's my thing. When now that I'm an adult and now that I have a PhD because I'm a nerd, I just came from kaua'i yesterday, and I was just in a conversation yesterday and even this morning with kaua'i people who kept saying kaua'i, kaua'i, kaua'i. My thought in my head is, when did we start doing that?
Mm.
When did we start not saying kaua'i as local people and saying kaua'i? And it's because of immigration. And it's because us natives became the minority.
Mm.
And we were dominated by this bigger population that also felt entitled to dictate to us how to live, how to talk. So that's why Kanaka today are many times embarrassed to have someone who does speak Hawaiian in the face of them, fellow local, my neighbor, next door neighbor, who always says kaua'i, kaua'i naturally without even thinking about it. And here comes Keao, and I say kaua'i, suddenly they get uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Exact same uncomfortable you talked about earlier. That we had talked about. They feel uncomfortable in my presence because I say kaua'i, but I say kaua'i without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they say kaua'i without thinking about it. So now we get this awkward moment.